All right. Well, it's great to be with you guys. Just a quick introduction. My name is Brian Vitalico. I am a senior partner development manager here at Microsoft, and I'm responsible for the Microsoft and Lenovo relationship. So, very excited to talk to you today. A lot about what Microsoft's been doing and how we're really generating some momentum around AI, and what does that mean for the Windows 11 ecosystem, and add a little bit of context to this journey that we've been on. So, first and foremost, I would say I'd be a little surprised if you hadn't already heard that Microsoft's been a big investor in AI technology and that it's on the forefront of our current strategy. And the reality is that AI really is the future of how we're going to be working. But I do think it's important that we all understand kind of why, a little bit more information as to why it is actually so important. And I have some stats here, and I think they're interesting, around what pain points exist that we think AI is really going to solve for. A big one really being around, distractions. Two-thirds of our workers out there are saying they just don't have enough uninterrupted time in the day. And then another two-thirds are saying they just are having trouble to managing all the tasks due to just lack of time and lack of energy. And I think there's an interesting word in every stat that I've seen around AI that I want all of you to really start wrapping your brains around, and that is time. AI is all about time. It's about time, and time is really about dollars. So, for your organization, start thinking about the best teams that you have, the best workers that you have, and what does time really mean to them? And ultimately, what does their time mean to your bottom line? And so AI is really starting to focus in on what can we do to give more time back to our most successful teams, our highest workers, to really enable them to contribute even more to the business and even more to the bottom lines and to your P&L. And so there's a real reality to what AI has to offer to us in this current environment. And on the flip side, employees really honestly are looking for this. In fact, when you start seeing stats in the 80%, 90% range of people that are looking for tools, or they're looking for AI to help them in some capacity, that gets really compelling. Anytime you have a stat where a vast majority of workers, then when they're asked that question, around where they would like AI to help them, when you get that high of a return, that's pretty significant. For me personally, I think the one that I use the most, that I think gives me the most time back in my day, is really about simplifying and summarizing meetings, as an example. And there's one example of many, many things that AI and ultimately the Microsoft Copilot system will do for your business. But for me, it's about meetings. And I am not great at taking notes. I'm not great at summarizing the meetings, and I'm not great at action items, even though I talk with people all the time, especially with my friends at Lenovo, my friends at Intel, about what we're really doing. But I lack the time in my day to really summarize that and give it that recap back to them. And so I've been using Copilot in my day-to-day on my Lenovo Windows 11 PC to really help me summarize meetings and add action items. And you can see from the stats here, 80% of the workers we've asked, that's one of the things that they've responded to say, we would love the tool set like that. We were excited to use that technology to help us do that. And there are a number of different examples around what AI really is going to be doing for the future in the workplace. And so I challenge you all to also think creatively of what Copilot and AI and Windows 11 and all that together could really mean to your business, and really what it could mean to the end user experience that your employees are having in your business today. So the one thing that is important is that AI is a tool, it is a technology. It's very complex in some ways and very simple in some ways. But I kind of equate using AI as to a journey versus a destination. Or another example I tend to use is that when you're learning how to swim, or you're teaching your kids how to swim, you don't necessarily just jump right into the deep end. Some people certainly could, right? And I applaud anybody that was brave enough when they were, 3, 4, 5 years old to jump off that diving board right into the deep end and start swimming laps. But for the most part, there's a journey that's involved in that, right? And so really this is about AI readiness right now. So if you want to be able to deploy AI tools to get all of the benefits that I just kind of talked through, or see the impacts to your business, you need to begin to think about this as a journey. And what steps have you taken as an organization to really put yourself on the right path forward to become AI ready, so that when you're at that point, when you're ready to deploy the AI technology like Copilot into your environment, that you've done all the things necessary to really set yourselves up for success. What I want to tell you is that Windows devices, Lenovo Windows 11 devices, really are at the center of that plan. What I've got here is just an example of a bit of a checklist, an AI readiness plan that you could definitely implement within your organization. And again, it starts with looking at your device estate and understanding what devices do you have? Do you have modern PCs? Do you have AI-ready PCs that are capable of running these workloads that are going to give that end-user experience that is needed to really embrace and enhance that AI experience? Have you addressed security? And Windows 11 devices definitely lean into helping you get out on the right foot with security around zero trust security protocols, making sure that your data is secure, it's organized in a way so you don't have issues. Have you freed up IT resources to really focus on other tasks by taking away some of their burden around deployment and management of devices? So using things like Intune and Autopilot just to free up time and bandwidth from IT staff so you can look at implementing more AI workloads. And then finally, as we get into it, you have to be able to empower productivity. You need to put M365 in the hands of those employees on top of those Windows 11 PCs from Lenovo. And ultimately, you need to deploy Copilot. And this is kind of a quick checklist and not certainly not the exclusive checklist of what you should consider when thinking about how do I get my organization to an AI ready state. So I definitely encourage you to begin thinking about this and really starting with that device estate, assessing that and understanding where you are currently in terms of devices that sit with your end users. So beyond that, why are Windows 11 devices really that first step? This quote here comes from IDC just earlier this year, really about looking at modern hardware and its impact to that AI journey. So I'm just going to briefly kind of read it. This is from Tom at IDC. New hardware brings many benefits, including new functionality, focusing on the rise of generative AI. Forward-looking companies know a PC refresh is critical to their continued success and recognize the value of making it happen well ahead of the planned Windows 10 end of support in 2025. So I want to center in on the last part of that sentence because yes, new devices, absolutely big value add to your organization in leveraging AI tool sets, but you also need to be aware that there's a time bomb out there to some degree. Windows 10, if you're running Windows 10 in your environment today, will go end of support in October of 2025. That means once that goes end of support, PCs running Windows 10 will no longer receive security updates. If you go back to that checklist, security is the second thing on the list. Having unsupported devices is a big security concern. Not only are you going to get the advantage by moving to Windows 11 PCs of all the benefits of that, I'm going to go into some of those benefits in a second about how you can use AI tools and what Windows 11 can bring to your organization, but you're also going to avoid the risks that come with staying on an operating system that's no longer supported. So just to kind of pivot here to the last piece and wrap up, focusing in on that first step in a checklist of what does Windows 11 do for your organization? How does it really enhance the experience? And why is it an important first step? And really kind of centers in on everything that AI actually has to promise and what Windows 11 kind of enhances. So the first is around end-user experience, right? 42% faster to complete demanding workloads over Windows 10 machines. That's a significant improvement about giving time back. When you start talking about AI and Copilot, it is going to require, a little bit more juice under the hood, if you will. And so you're going to want devices that really center in on end user experience. And a big part of that too is, end users are going to be far more productive when they're enjoying the experience they're having on the machine. In fact, I'm running a Lenovo PC today, and I know I'm much more efficient in my role at Microsoft because I know that my PC can keep up with the demanding tasks in front of me. And so I'm happy with my experience, and because of that, I'm frankly just more productive. And I run Copilot on this machine today. The next is about security, and I know that's the second piece on a list, and security goes well beyond devices, certainly, but Windows 11 is a fantastic foot forward in the security realm. 58% drop in security incidents from moving from Windows 10 to Windows 11. That's not to say that Windows 10 wasn't an amazing OS and a very secure OS and remains a very secure OS, but Windows 11 was really built on the foundation of security. Windows 11 was built during the pandemic, and as you all remember, we all went home and we continue to potentially work from home or work from different parts of the world or different offices. And so having a hardware-based security foundation is very important to a zero trust security approach. And so very important here, security really continues to be top of mind for all of IT staff and all business owners. And so making sure that you're putting your best foot out there when it comes to security is important, and Windows 11 gives you a definite leg up there. The last is really important here, and that it's easy to manage and very compatible. So 99.7% of all applications that ran on Windows 10 are running on Windows 11 without any issues. So know that if you're concerned about what that move may mean to your organization, just know, again, nearly 100% of applications are working in that transition. Where there are instances where it's not, and it is very rare, typically with homegrown apps and things like that, Microsoft does offer a program called App Assure. So if you do have any issues with an application that for some reason ran on 10 but doesn't run on 11, Microsoft will actually work with you one-on-one to fix that application for you. So you can have a lot of assurance to know that Windows 11 machines shouldn't be a burden to move to, and shouldn't really have any sort of significant impact on your operations. And if you do have that, make sure you're reaching out to your Microsoft representative to help you move through that, or your Lenovo team to help you move through that. The last, really is, the last piece, and I know I've said AI about a million times. I'm sure my friends from Intel and Lenovo are going to say the same thing, and you guys are probably somewhat tired of hearing the term, right? But the reality is that everybody is talking about it. Everyone is starting to figure out how they want to use it. Know that there are steps that you absolutely could and should take. If you're in a highly competitive industry, your competitors out there are definitely thinking about this. So be on your front foot. Don't get complacent. Start thinking about, really what AI could mean to your bottom line, and start thinking about how devices really help to enhance that experience for you in moving forward. So with that, I just want to thank you all for the time. Hopefully this was helpful, and I'm looking forward to the next conversations.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Munley. I work at Intel, and I manage all of the SMB and channel business for all of North America on Team Lenovo. I'm excited to be here to chat with you guys. I'm laughing looking at the slide. You're probably in one of two camps, either really eager to learn more about AI PC because there has been just so much noise recently, and maybe some even confusion on what it is, or you're just kind of tired of the acronym altogether. But I think regardless of your feelings on AI in general, we can agree that in the past 6 months, the conversations around AI have absolutely exploded. It has been in every conversation in technology and beyond. And I want to talk a little bit more about why that is, because AI has been around for decades. It's kind of probably going to come as a surprise, but it's been around for almost 70 years. That's when the term was coined back in the 50s. So I really want to spend some time to talk about what's changed and what's changed so recently, and also just reference some of the recent announcements you may have heard, as well as how Intel defines AI and an AI PC. And ultimately, why does it matter and why do you guys care? So let's start with Intel's point of view, right? So Intel's point of view is that AI is going to be everywhere. Kind of already is, right? It'll go from where it is currently sitting, which is in the cloud. So today, AI is really being serviced from the cloud, but our vision, and actually what's already started to happen since our launch announcements, is now we're trying to see it come down to the client and to the edge. So today we have AI. It leverages the cloud for a variety of reasons. So AI model training, for example, and inference. This has been taking advantage of the massive scalable compute infrastructure, which is all the cloud, right? But that comes with some disadvantages. One of the most evident one we've been seeing is cost. We'll spend some time on that. It's very costly. Latency, which means this delay when you have to send something to the cloud and bring it back down. And then privacy. Security is a big issue. That's another thing that we see, having something up into the cloud. You read those articles about developers or people using some sort of, chat GPT to try and get information, and then they accidentally disclose something that's really private to their company. So privacy is a huge one. So let's focus a second on cost. AI, it probably felt like it became accessible to the masses, or more people were kind of aware that it was taking place when ChatGPT took off. And it kind of took off last year. It was started, I want to say, in November of 2022, but we really started to see it in 2023. These figures might be outdated, but the last that I saw was it has around 180.5 million users. And I think everyone probably has either used it or has heard of ChatGPT at some point. And I saw that the website generated close to like 1.7 billion visits in 1 month alone in November of last year. So it's been hugely successful. It's been known. But let's talk about why it is not sustainable. ChatGPT, I saw an estimate, and you see a lot of these, they range, but the average estimated cost is about, 30 cents per query. So every time you query it and ask it for a prompt or a question, which comes out to close to like $700,000 a day. So that's not a sustainable business model. And we see that it is being subsidized by a lot of different companies that cannot afford to continue to do that for very long. So all of these are very incentivized to bring it down locally, right? So that's why this AI inferencing needs to move from the cloud down to the edge and client. This is where we use our PCs. So as compute really evolves to address some of these disadvantages, cost, latency, privacy, it's really going to not only bring it locally to us, but it opens up new experiences for the users. And that's what I want to talk about. So I mentioned the past 6 months have been crazy with all the announcements. So one big event that we had was Intel Innovation. So Intel Innovation happened midway through the year in 2023. I still have to get used to the fact that it's 2024 now. Pat Gelsinger, who is our CEO, he compared artificial intelligence and its impact on the PC to basically Wi-Fi's impact on connectivity as a whole. So he had mentioned AI PC is going to be this sea of change moment in technical innovation. He's very bullish on AI. And he told the developers, that was the audience at this forum, and he kind of reminded them, he said, the Centrino platform, which is an Intel platform, back in 2003, 20 years ago, he said that was what broke Wi-Fi open 20 years ago. And he sees the same type of change happening with AI. So the same type of impact that we saw with Wi-Fi, which can you imagine not having Wi-Fi anymore? That's the way we're going to feel about AI. That was 20 years ago. So I think where we all need to start is, okay, what is AI? What does AI mean to you? And I think the chances are you ask 10 different people what AI is and what an AI PC is, you're going to get 10 different answers. You're going to get different answers even from the industry experts, from us and if you look at even what AMD is saying or Qualcomm or any of our competitors, even Microsoft at some point. Now we've come into closer alignment on a lot of this stuff, but I think you need to ask the question, what's an AI PC? So I want to define it for you and how Intel defines it. So an AI PC has a CPU, so that's a central processing unit. We've known about that. It's essentially the brain of the computer. A GPU, which is a graphics processing unit. We're very familiar with that. It does all the graphics. What is new is that third one. So the NPU, which is a neural processing unit. So it means all three of those, each of those have specific AI acceleration capabilities to make it an AI PC. So an NPU, which is new, has a specialized accelerator that handles AI or artificial intelligence, and it handles machine learning, which you'll hear being called ML. And it handles those tasks right on your PC, as opposed to what we saw in the previous slide, sending data to be processed in the cloud and then sending it back. So the CPU and the GPU can also process these types of workloads, but the NPU is especially good at low power AI calculations. So that's where you see this. The AI PC represents this fundamental shift in how our computers are going to operate, because now you have these three engines working together. I want to be very clear that it's not a solution for, a problem that didn't exist before. But I think it's really what it is it's a promise to be a huge improvement on everyday PC usages. So if we're very clear on this, all of you are probably AI power users, whether you know it or not. So if any of you use Netflix or those streaming shows, Netflix has recommendations for you that is powered by AI based on what you've watched, and then it's going to recommend something similar and that they think that you're going to like. Email spam filters that uses AI. Smart assistants, rideshare apps. I'm sure everyone's used Uber or Lyft. All of those use AI. And I feel like that's one of those things where AI is already so ingrained in our lives that there would be an immediate impact if we were to suddenly disappear and we didn't have it. So what you see with Meteor Lake, that's our current processor there that we launched, AI kind of breaks free of the cloud and it makes its way to the edge, which is on the client, and it's in the hands of all of us, of individuals, right? And so I think that's where it's important to know, okay, well, what can we actually look forward to on an AI PC? What am I going to get? And so a couple of things that I think you can really look forward to is there's going to be tools that can automate summarize meetings, which would be so wonderful. The amount of time I spend doing meeting notes and trying to summarize all this stuff, it takes so long. So having something to automate that, automate PowerPoint decks. I spend a lot of time doing PowerPoint decks like this one, emails, transcripts, chat histories, you name it, or even create it for you, which just is going to free up a lot of time for us to be more efficient and just freed up to do the things that we want to do. Tools that can create multiple iterations of text or graphics, audio, for social media, easier reading levels, all that. Then there's on the content creation side, tools that are going to reduce multi-hour content creation. We think about like Adobe, for example, removing an object from a video that takes hours down to just a few minutes. Think of what you'll do with all the time that you have back. So security tools that can automatically preempt malicious software like humans do because it doesn't feel legitimate. They can sense these things out. All of these are just going to enhance the experience that we have. Okay, so an AI PC has AI acceleration capabilities that's across these three engines, CPU, GPU, NPU. Great. That's the hardware that's needed. You might be saying, all right, well, other hardware vendors are going to have those three. So what's different about Intel? Intel, it's what we have is it's called Intel's Meteor Lake. What we're branding it, you're going to see it all over, is Core Ultra. So you're going to see a new brand. Core Ultra is the one that kind of signifies to you AI PC. It will be in the industry, the most efficient x86 processor and the CPU performance leadership on these ultra thin systems. So I'm not going to spend time talking about, the battery life and the graphics and all the enhancements you're going to get. All that's super important. And I could talk about hardware ad nauseum. But what really matters about AI PC is what are the experiences that you're going to get? What can you do on this incredible hardware? So this is where it says the killer app is choice. Intel has the broadest ISV ecosystem support in the industry, full stop. We have over 100 ISVs and over 300 features, experiences that we're going to deliver through these ISVs. And why is that? Why are we able to do that? So the first reason is, and you see that in the upper left-hand corner, Intel is uniquely positioned to deliver the AI PC because we plan, and Pat, our CEO, we had a launch event in December, and he announced this to the press and made a promise that we are planning to deliver over 100 million units into the marketplace through 2025. Scale. Scale is huge, right? So when you have scale, it means an ISV has to make a choice where to develop and optimize their applications. They want to choose one that gives them the best scale. Well, I'll take 100 million PCs over the course of this year into next year over any other vendor. So they've chosen to work with us for that reason, because it's Intel by a landslide. On top of that, we have the easiest developer support. We have longstanding relationships. We have dedicated developing and engineering staff, all of this, right? So in order to get the best AI experience, you're going to want, which means all of these applications that are now available to you that are transformative. But in order to get that, you're going to want to be on, Intel's Core Ultra processors. That's the new branding for Meteor Lake. Lenovo has already launched Meteor Lake products, right? They were the first to market at our December 14th launch event in New York City. They had product on shelf in New York, ready to be purchased. And they announced additional products at CES, which is Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. And that was at the beginning of January. So you'll hear more from Wes on the Lenovo side. But the other really critical piece is to be on Windows 11, which you heard a lot from Brian about it. And you heard that he said that it will have 99.7% app compatibility, which you're going to need with what we have on this, which is the largest library of user AI software and all these applications. So Intel, Lenovo, Microsoft, we're all in complete alignment with bringing the best experiences to partners and customers with our hardware and software. I like to give two examples to really visualize what it is. So an office application assistant and creators. So if we look at just this presentation right now, you may hear it and say, shoot, okay, Rachel mentioned that there was some launch event. What was it? And it would say the launch event was on December 14th. Lenovo already launched product. You could ask what was the app compatibility? And it would automatically tell you Windows 11 has 99.7% app compatibility. And it would tell you exactly when Brian said Windows 11 was going to go out of service. Anything you need, You type in there, it's going to tell you. It's like a superpower that you have to remember anything that's happened in this meeting. So you don't have to rewatch, 20 minutes of it, which we're encouraging anyone to rewatch our webinars, but it just saves time, right? And it just really helps you in that. The other one, Creator, I like to talk about. A lot of times you have these photographers and they may have a wedding that they have to shoot over the weekend, and they have to now deliver, a 10,000, not 10,000, maybe 1,000 photo library. Maybe they take 10,000 photos. So they have to edit 1,000 photos in, let's say, Adobe Lightroom. Maybe they need to denoise photos. They need to blur the lens on some of them. Not only will you be able to save an incredible amount of time on each of these, but it can improve image quality in ways that were not possible before without this. So you see an immediate just ROI in the purchase of these things because you're saving time, and time equates to money. And we don't want to be wasting time on things that can be automated for us. Okay, enough on AI. The last thing I just want to make sure everyone is aware of is that Intel Unison. This is not a new technology. It will be enhanced in 2024, but it's been available. And the idea is that, it's no secret that employees rely on their phones for everything and their PCs. So both are critical business tools, but they don't talk together today. With Intel Unison, that changes everything. So essentially, it means that it's available on Intel 13th gen with Windows 11 into, our 14th gen Core Ultra devices. And it basically says that you can receive calls, notifications, text messages. You can easily transfer a file from your phone to your PC and vice versa. So you don't have the distraction of your phone that's anytime you get a text and you open it up and, oh, there's a news article, or, oh, there's a sports update that I need to look at. And then you've lost 20 minutes of productivity. This makes sure that you can seamlessly integrate the two where you need to, but you don't have the distraction of your phone, which I think is incredible. So something that you are going to want to ask Lenovo about, because it's incorporated into, like I mentioned, their 13th and 14th gen devices with Windows 11. So guys, that's all I have. I want to thank you all for your time. I look forward to additional conversations as the year evolves. Happy 2024 to everyone.
Hi there. That was a great update from Brian at Microsoft and Rachel at Intel. Here at Lenovo, we're also very excited about the AI future, but we're also excited about bringing productivity and security to devices right now, right? So we have products in market right now, that absolutely will help our customers and users from a productivity perspective and a security perspective. So my name is Wes Towns. I have responsibility for Lenovo ThinkPad and ThinkCenter product marketing inside of North America. And I'm going to take you through some of our key messages that align with what Microsoft and Intel have covered with you. So, just to summarize what Brian and Rachel told you about, their priorities, right? So for Microsoft, getting ready for AI, right? The communicating to customers that they should be upgrading to Windows 11 for better productivity, better user experience, improving, security, and obviously Windows 11 is extremely compatible with previous software applications and is easy to manage. Microsoft recommending that you upgrade to Microsoft 365 and that you enable your users with Copilot. And then from Intel, right, Intel's key message, AI everywhere, right? So they're going to bring, with their new Core Ultra processors, they're going to help the world bring AI down from the cloud to your local PC. And, why is the industry motivated to do that, right? So, moving AI from the cloud to your PC, you're getting better performance, you're getting better privacy, you're using your local information, your local data. And for the suppliers, it's less expensive. And then, of course, Intel has a huge group of software vendors that they work with, that they're working with to bring AI enhancements to their applications, right? So from a Lenovo standpoint, a few things that I would want to make sure that to leave you with would be, one, you don't have to wait for an AI capable PC. The products that we have in market right now, the products that are coming in a few months, both will be exceptional AI capable PCs. And another point is that AI does not have to be scary. For most users, it won't be scary at all, right? It'll be small incremental improvements in productivity. And then third here, Lenovo Think products, whether that's ThinkPad, ThinkCenter, ThinkStation, ThinkSmart, optimized around Windows 11, optimized around Intel processors, and optimized, for commercial customers, right? Easy to deploy, easy to secure, easy to manage, designed around productivity, designed responsibly from a ESG perspective. And again, AI ready now. And so when I say you don't have to wait, right? So if you think about the products that are available right now, right? We have hundreds of thousands of products at distribution today. That's ThinkPad, ThinkCenter, ThinkStation, that are all AI capable products. They have Windows 11 preloaded. They have Intel 13th gen processors. And then from an AI perspective, you're going to be doing most of that AI in the cloud, right? But you can get there through your PC. They also all can do some light AI, on the local PC, right? So, things like studio effects, the effects in Zoom and Teams. And then obviously, for products like workstations that have discrete graphics, they're also capable of doing AI on the discrete graphics. Now, that Rachel at Intel talked about in her presentation, right? We have these Intel Core Ultra processors coming, right? So these new products are going to start arriving in distribution in around April, right? We'll start ship supporting, some of the products will ship as early as late February, but they probably won't arrive at distribution until early April. So that'd be your ThinkPad primarily with the Intel Core Ultra processors that Rachel talked about, right? So Windows 11, Intel Core Ultra processors, and that's where you start seeing, the AI moving from the cloud down to your local PC. Although some of the AI applications are going to stay in the cloud, and some of the AI applications will stay, particularly workstation, on the discrete graphics. The key point I would like to leave here is you don't have to wait. The products that are being purchased and sold right now can get AI. It's just primarily in the cloud. The products that come in a few months with the Core Ultra processors are where you can bring the AI down to your local PC. But everything in market right now, can do AI. And the second point is AI does not have to be scary. There's all these words that, the average user doesn't understand. Large language models, generative AI, machine learning, deep learning, open AI, natural language processing. That all sounds really scary. But for the majority of users in the world, AI isn't going to be that scary. AI is just going to show up as small little, productivity enhancements in the applications you already use. So if you think about a typical knowledge worker, right? So a typical knowledge worker is using Outlook. They're using PowerPoint, Excel, Word, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Google Meets, QuickBooks, if it's a small, medium business, browser-based applications. And guess what? When AI happens, they're still going to be using those same applications. But now that the processor, that Intel Core Ultra processor, can do AI efficiently, all of these applications will start integrating AI features. Your Excel, your PowerPoint, your Teams, Outlook, QuickBooks, all of these things will start integrating these AI improvements, these productivity improvements. So it's not some radical new software that most users are going to see. They're just going to see AI features show up in the applications they already use. So it doesn't have to be something that people are afraid of. So the ThinkPad models with the Intel Core processors, again, they'll start rolling into distribution in the early April timeframe. The first batch of products that'll start showing up is our X series branded products. So you'll see ThinkPad X1 Carbon, ThinkPad X1 2-in-1, the ThinkPad X13, the X13 2-in-1, and then some of our SMB-oriented products, the E14, E16, ThinkBook 14, ThinkBook 16. So that's the first batch of products that'll show up. And then every few weeks, some more products will start rolling in, right? So late April will be our T series. In the May timeframe, you'll see our first P series workstation with the Core Ultra processor arrive, and then a few more will show up a few weeks later. Again, the products we have in market right now, AI, but AI in the cloud. These new products with the Core Ultra processors will be, AI local, right? The capability to do the AI locally. So one of the products that we just press released at CES we're very excited about is the ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 12, right? So we call this, the perfect business laptop. So it will have that Core Ultra processor, which has, the integrated AI accelerator, that AI engine called a neural processing unit. So it will have that capability. And of course, this product's, sub 15 millimeters, sub 2.5 pounds. So it's just perfect for road warriors or executives. The other enhancements being around the communication. We now have a 8 megapixel MIPI camera, so really high-end, beautiful, brilliant camera available on this product. We've improved the thermals so that we can provide more power and it continues to be cool and quiet. Got a great new OLED display option. And for the first time, we're going to give users the option of a traditional track point or a haptic touchpad, right? So it will be optional. So if you have customers or users who are traditional ThinkPad users, they'd go with that traditional ThinkPad track point. Or maybe users who are younger, users who are, potentially have used Apple products in the past, which would be a good option for the haptic touchpad. So we're really excited about this product. This one will be one of the first ones that arrive at distribution in the April timeframe. And so then, just other things to be excited about in the 2024 portfolio, responsible design. So I mentioned that up front, right? Responsible design. We have new keyboard enhancements for the visually impaired, so that makes it easier to navigate the keyboard for folks who are, visually impaired. Plastic-free packaging, so 100% plastic-free packaging on our ThinkPad portfolio. We're using more recycled materials this year and more recyclable materials. And then, of course, all of the, Energy Star, EPEAT Gold, TCO, all of those sustainability type metrics that we participate in. From a user experience perspective, this year we're going big on dual cameras, right? So having a 5 megapixel camera and an IR camera, which is really going to help from a collaboration perspective. We've got the camera bar now across the portfolio, which houses the dual cameras, houses the microphones, and also allows you to reduce the bezel size to make it, the screen size look so much nicer, and also makes it really easy to open and close the lid. Enhanced thermal design. So a lot of our products today, the heat from the product is exhausted from the right-hand side of the system. So if someone is a mouse user, they're right-handed, they might feel the heat coming out of the system. So in all of our new products, we've now moved the heat exhaust to the rear of the system, so you're not feeling it on your hand. Another great user experience enhancement is the 400 nit brightness panel that we're going to have standard on T14, T14S, and L14. Historically speaking, most entry panels are like a 250 nit from a brightness standpoint. So moving up to 400 nit on the entry panel is a great improvement year to year. And then another focus area for us this year is serviceability, is to make sure that the products can be easily serviced over time. Products like our T14, T16, L14, L16 all have dual DIMM slots, which is new on the T14, T16. Several of our products this year are going to have customer replaceable batteries so that you don't have to call a technician to come replace the battery if it were to fail. And then also targeting really high scores for serviceability with the iFixit. So targeting a greater than 9 out of 10 on the iFixit scores. So that says, it's easy to repair and replace things like the battery, the DIMMs, the SSD, and keyboard. So lots of focus here around responsible design, improving experience, and serviceability. So I think that's what I had to cover today, folks. I really appreciate your time, and hopefully, I've left you with a couple of thoughts, right? One is no reason to wait. The PCs that we have in market can do AI. It's just AI in the cloud. The PCs that are coming in a few months can do AI, and they can do AI in the cloud or locally if the application is written to do local AI. And then the second point being that, hey, AI doesn't have to be scary, right? A lot of the applications that you're using every day are just going to get a little bit better. So I appreciate your time. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.